Have you ever looked at a major city and wondered, how did this place become a global tourist magnet? What's the secret recipe? Well, today we're breaking down that exact blueprint, from laying the very first brick all the way to the final economic report card. Let's dive in. When you really get down to it, this whole thing splits into two big questions. Think of them as two halves of a puzzle. First, there's the how. What are the fundamental things you actually need to build? And then there's the why. How do you figure out if that massive investment was even worth it? So let's tackle the how first. All right, part A, laying the foundations. This is all about the construction phase, right? And to build a truly world-class destination, everything, and I mean everything, rests on three essential pillars. So pillar number one is all about making it easy to get there. Transport infrastructure. It's pretty simple, really. If people can't get to you, you don't have any tourists. This means two big things: expanding your airports to welcome international flights and building slick internal transport, like high-speed rail, so getting around is a total breeze. You're basically trying to shrink the world. Pillar number two is accommodation. I know, sounds obvious, doesn't it? But it's about so much more than just putting roofs over heads. The key term here is carrying capacity. See, more hotels don't just lock in more visitors. They can actually unlock the potential of beautiful remote spots, which dramatically boosts how many tourists a whole region can sustainably handle. And our third and final pillar is what makes the whole trip feel effortless: essential services. We're talking about removing all the friction. Think fast, reliable Wi-Fi everywhere you go, and maybe even more important, what we call human capital. That just means having amazing, well-trained staff who make every single interaction feel polished and positive. Okay, so we've built our destination. The pillars are in place. But now comes the really tough question: the economic evaluation. After spending all those billions, was it actually worth it? It's time to weigh the money made against the money wasted. So let's start with the advantages. And the biggest, most immediate win is just a massive number of new jobs. We are talking huge numbers here. Back in 2011, the tourism industry was responsible for something like 6 to 8% of all jobs on the entire planet. That is a seriously powerful engine for an economy. The second huge advantage is something you've got to know. It's called the multiplier effect. Here's how it works. A tourist spends $1 at a hotel. That dollar doesn't just stop there. The hotel uses it to pay its staff, who then spend it at the local market. The hotel also buys food from local farmers, who then pay their workers. That one single tourist dollar just keeps circulating, multiplying its value as it ripples through the whole local economy. So it all sounds pretty great, right? You've got jobs everywhere, money is flowing, but there's got to be a catch. What is the one huge risk that's lurking behind all of this amazing growth? And here it is. This is the big one, the white elephant risk. Just think about this for a second. After the 2008 Beijing Olympics, a staggering 2/3 of the brand new expensive venues built for the Games failed to even break even. They just became these enormous, costly, empty buildings, giant economic black holes for the city. That's the nightmare scenario. So that's the billion-dollar question, isn't it? How does a city avoid that disastrous fate? How do you make sure you're building a long-term profit maker, not just a short-term money pit? Well, the answer, and this is the magic word, is a strategy called adaptive repurposing. It means that from the very beginning, you're not just planning for the big event. You're planning for what happens the day after. You're not just building a stadium for a 2-week event. You're designing it from day one for its second, third, and fourth life. And the absolute best example of this is the water cube from those same Beijing Olympics. This thing could have easily become a classic white elephant, but instead they did something brilliant. They transformed the entire venue into a massive indoor public water park. It went from being a huge one-time expense to a permanent money-making attraction for everyone. So, we've walked through the whole process: the initial construction, the economic boom, the potential bust, and the smart solution. Now it's time to answer the question: what's the final verdict? And the verdict is yes, the economic advantages can absolutely outweigh the disadvantages. But, and this is a huge but, it is not automatic. Success all comes down to meeting a few absolutely critical conditions. And here they are, the 3 golden rules for success. Number 1, you need careful, strategic, long-term planning. Number 2, you have to bake in that adaptive reuse idea right from the very start. And number 3, you've got to use that global spotlight to build a lasting brand that keeps tourists coming back years later. And this last image really pulls it all together. You start with growth, right? Building those 3 pillars. That forces the economic evaluation, weighing the good against the bad, the jobs versus the white elephants. And that leads you to the synthesis, the solution, smart, adaptive repurposing. That is the complete game plan, the proven strategy for building a successful global destination that lasts.